shooting down in the woods. He wouldn't leave it even if he could. 'Cause life is good, yeah!
Hickok45, your internet shooting companion, coming to you from the beautiful hills of Middle Tennessee, the home of Alvin York, Dolly Parton, and many others, actually. I tend to think of Tennessee as the home of the 101st Airborne and, the 5th Group Special Forces at Fort Campbell, too. But I guess their official address is Kentucky. It's just right up the road from me. I'm up there, periodically in that neighborhood, and I think of Fort Campbell as being in Tennessee, to tell you the truth. I think it's maybe half and half. I don't know. But anyway, it's just right up the road. And we're sure proud to have those folks right here in our backyard. And used to be we'd hear mortar rounds and things sometimes, even from where I live at times. But as I got up into Clarksville, and I used to shoot with a buddy up in Clarksville occasionally, and we would really hear a lot of things going on base from his location. But anyway, we kind of claim them too, here in Tennessee. So what we're going to talk about today, a few things. I'll try to put a table of contents in here and give you an idea what I am going to ramble about. Really, whenever I put in that table of contents, I'm always thinking, because I have to kind of do this quickly. I had a lot of stuff going on, and outside the video world and everything else, but I can't let this radio show, the blog show, whatever we want to call it, drive me, because I enjoy doing it, but it can't become something really, really big, or we'll have the tail wagging the dog here. It's just something that some of you seem to like, and so I want to keep doing it periodically. And again, it might end up being 2 weeks. It may be just whenever I'm in the mood. So far, I've pretty much done one every Saturday, and then whenever it's posted. But I kind of enjoy it, just chatting about some things. And as long as enough of you all are crazy enough to listen to it, I'll try to keep doing it, whatever the frequency rate of it is. But anyway, I can't let it drive me. I get lots of requests to put it on iTunes and all this kind of thing. Right now, our video project is the main thing, and I'm probably not going to be able to pursue that or go with that any further at this point. We'll see. Who knows what the future holds. But at any rate, I'll put a table of contents in of some things that I'm going to talk about. And what I was going to say is you really can't tell from whatever I write in the 1 or 2, 3 word phrase in the table of contents, of course, what I am rambling about on that particular topic. Really, I just try to give it a little bit of guidance there in terms of at least one of the things I talk about in that segment. You never know where I'm going to go on a topic. So, but anyway, we'll talk about some things here. It's Father's Day weekend. Talk a little bit about our trip and some cool things we saw, and things that get sent me, and just some different things like that. And we'll see where we go today. All right. So buckle up and let's just chat about a few things here. Speaking of the trip, we enjoyed our short trip up to northern Kentucky and southern Indiana this past weekend. I warned you all that we might be at the Louisville Gun Day and also at Friendship, Indiana. And we were at both locations. Ran into some of you all. Appreciate you saying hi, and that was neat to see. I didn't expect to see as many of you at the Friendship muzzleloading shoot. It's actually what do they call it? It's a Muzzle Loading Rifle Association. It's a spring shoot, nationals, but it's a spring shoot. It takes place in Friendship, Indiana. It's a big event, and we're going to do posting a video on it here pretty soon, just of some sights and scenes around that thing, and some folks I talked with there. Never done that before at it, but thought ought to. It's something that a lot of people are not familiar with. It even goes on. But we were there and ran into several of you there. It was kind of neat to know that that many of you are also into that sort of thing, at least at some level, like me. I'm not a giant muzzle loading person. It's just one of the areas of guns I like. You know me, jack of all trades, master of none, and I enjoy those too. The history, oh man, talk about the history and the beauty of some of those firearms just a incredibly rich history, and just the mechanics of how these things work, whether it's an old flintlock or it's a percussion revolver, with the reloading mechanism right there hanging under the barrel. Those kinds of things are just still fascinating to me, and they were such a part of our history for a long period of time. But anyway, we'll talk about that. But that was a neat trip. Louisville gun shows, they call them gun days, I think, most of the time. There's 3 or 4 a year, and you can Google that and get the dates. But they're always a pretty good show for this part of the country. I know there's some bigger gun shows out west, and maybe even in the east somewhere, but that's one of the biggest around the Tennessee, Kentucky area that I'm aware of. It wasn't quite as large as it normally is. I don't know what the deal was there, but it was still a big show, and it's truly a gun show. Some gun shows are just, you got the whole gamut, don't you? Most of you, if you're listening to this, you probably hit a lot of gun shows. You're a pretty serious shooter. They can be a glorified flea market with a few guns thrown in, right? That's the low end, I guess, of the gun show spectrum. And then a lot of gun shows, though, are pretty good. They're mostly guns with a few flea market items or oddball stuff, thrown in there. And some of that stuff actually is kind of interesting. You see some stuff there. It's not guns. I know a lot of purists don't want to see anything except guns at a gun show. But, sometimes, someone's got some bags, cool bags, or ammo cans and all kinds of stuff like that. I end up often buying some of that stuff that I need, instead of guns or something, or ammo. But anyway, it's a nice mix sometimes. Here you have some of that too, of course, in Louisville, but it's a real gun show in a lot of ways, where there are a lot of people there showing off their guns. Imagine that, a gun show where people actually are there to just show their guns. I mean, most places it's for selling them, but at the Louisville Gun Show, you actually have guns sometimes that are not for sale. There's just people set up to display, some really classic firearms. And that's kind of neat. And a lot of them have price tags on them, but it might be $10,000 or something. But they're it's a show. And what I like about it is you can actually see. You may not be as interested in some of the older firearms, but it's pretty neat to walk by and look at a table with an old Henry rifle on it, a real one that maybe it was made in 1862, and it's in really good shape. It might have a price tag on it of $30,000 or something, but I mean, there it is. That gun, that rifle, may have been used in the Civil War, or a Colt single action army that you walk by and look into. Oh, there's a third generation, a new Colt single action, and you get to looking a little closer and you realize, oh, no, it's not. It wouldn't be $22,000. It's it was made in 1878, and it just looks like a brand new one because it's hardly been fired or something. So it's kind of neat to see that stuff, and then just you actually can learn some history from the various firearms you do see that are there. They are, and with letters and information and all that kind of thing. So it's a fun show. Friendship up in Indiana, again, the National Muzzleloading Rifle Association puts that on, that big shoot, every spring and fall. And it's down in a valley, southern Indiana. It's close to, it's down from Lawrenceburg, and down the river from Lawrenceburg, I guess Dillsboro, if you're trying to look for it on a map. Friendship's actually on most maps, but it's like a little village almost, and I think I've talked about that before, but it's a beautiful valley. I think it's the Walter Klein Range, they call it, and it's the headquarters for the National Muzzleloading Rifle Association. But they have silhouettes, metal silhouettes they shoot at. It looks like out to about 1,000 yards, and paper targets they shoot. It's actually a match. I've never really shot in it. I just go to shop, I confess. Any kind of old knives and everything. I think I'm repeating myself, I guess, for maybe last week. But we've actually been there now, and I just want to kind of give you a little bit of a wrap-up. Beautiful event in a lot of ways with a living history. A lot of people, I really appreciate people doing that. There are people, we may kind of wonder about them sometimes or think, wow, that guy's just a little weird. But people who do the reenacting, God love them. I mean, living history, that's the ultimate. you see a lot of people walking around there in their buckskins and with their kids and everybody in tow, and they are all dressed, 1830s or 1820s or whatever the period, and packing their flintlock and their knives, and they're living across in the living history section, camped there for the week, and they're camped in a camp style of 1820s or 30s, and you can go walk by and observe all that. And you may have been to an event like that, but it is wonderful that people are so into that they do that, so that we can walk through and just see what it was really like, in so many ways. Of course you have Civil War reenactors, you have World War II reenactors, and it's just, we're fortunate that people are willing to do that. Gosh, I hope we don't ever make fun of them or laugh at them or, say derogatory things about them just because they're into something that deeply, because all of us are into something pretty deeply, I guess. They've chosen something that actually helps educate us, and it's really neat, whatever their motivation is. So I always enjoy that. But anyway, we have a fondness for the old guns and for the axes, tomahawks, knives, and those sorts of things that you see there, hand forged and all kinds of things. Great place to buy parts or accoutrements for any muzzle loading equipment, as you can imagine. Everybody's set up there in, I think they call it Trader's Row. If you need a ramrod. In fact, I picked up a cool brass ramrod for my muzzle loaders, and things like that. Any size round ball for any pistol or rifle, you name it, they have it. And so it's just quite an event. Then there's also a major flea market in connection with it that generally people go through as well. Some of it's a little bit gun related because it's there at Friendship. And then some of it's not. There are a lot of knives and a few guns even in that section. So pretty interesting event. I believe it starts the second weekend of June every year. It runs through, it starts on a Saturday and runs through the next Saturday and Sunday. So it's 2 weekends plus the 5 days between. Wonderful event. In fact, it's still going on today as I speak to you anyway. Whatever that is. Today's the 18th, I guess. It's Saturday. So it runs through today and tomorrow. If you happen to be living in Indiana and weren't even aware of it, of course you got to get down there quick, because I went on the second weekend once and a lot of people were leaving early, which, I wasn't too happy with. I'll never go on the second weekend again. But anyway, great trip. We stopped off, we stayed in northern Kentucky, and I'm from that area. And you saw maybe the little FAQ we did on the suspension bridge there that spans the Ohio River between Covington and Cincinnati. Neat old bridge. That was one of the things on my list. I wanted to do an FAQ on that bridge. We've been meaning to do more of that. We have a bunch of FAQs we have been saving up, and that we want to do a few of, maybe in some interesting spots like that. We've not done any in Nashville. It's crazy. I live in one of the most popular cities in the world, in a lot of ways, one of the coolest cities, and we've not brought you anything down there. I don't want to become a tour guide, but little FAQs could come from anywhere, so be ready. You never know where we'll be. So anyway, we enjoyed that trip. Obviously a firearms related trip. Got to see a lot of my relatives in the area that I haven't seen for a while. They're all growing up on me, so that's kind of neat. Even one of my little cousins walking around with a phone watching Hickok videos on it. That was hilarious. She's I guess 9, something like that. It's just amazing, kind of having fun with that. So anyway, great trip. We really enjoyed that. Well, I had Father's Day on my list to maybe say something about, since it's Father's Day weekend. I'm not sure what I'll say, but I'll open my mouth and start talking. Of course, I see that from both ends. As a father, it's always neat to spend time with my own son, John, on trips such as I just discussed, and of course all of our endeavors as related to the video project and everything. And it needs to be able to spend time with my own son and he was away at school for a while, and that was a difficult time in a lot of ways. Necessary, of course, and he's still pursuing, well, let me say, law enforcement career and security and those sort of. He doesn't like me to talk much about his personal stuff, of course, which I understand. But right now, he's able to be close by and everything, and we're able to do what we do almost any time we get an idea, or anytime we have lots of ideas. We have a long list of things we want to do, but so it makes that really nice, and we hope to be able to continue that even as he's a little further away, perhaps, and busier with his own life. We still want to be able to continue this, and at least on a weekly basis. So we'll see how that goes. But that's neat, and of course, a lot of you have commented on that, how neat it is that we can work together on this. We've always been close. I mean, since the day he was born, I was there, helped the birthing process, even, at the Vanderbilt birthing room, where he was born. And so we've always spent a lot of time together, whether he was 1 year old, 2, 3, 4. And it's one reason I came back to education. We've spent summers and vacations together, his whole life. And so it's just same old stuff for us in a lot of ways. So, and I know how it is, how it can be, depending on a career that somebody's involved in. Because I was in a different career for a period of time, and where you're traveling and you're gone all the time. But since John's been born, it's been neat to spend a lot of time, really. His whole life, basically. So that's been neat, and I know you. Enjoy that with your own son or your own father, hopefully. Lots of us started shooting with our dads, and we're going to continue that tradition with our sons. And many of you are probably lucky enough that your father is still living. Hope you take advantage and appreciate that and get to know them well and ask them a lot of questions. Once they're gone, as mine is, you think back on all the things you would like to have quiz them about, and there's just no way to find out anymore. There's no way to get the information. I feel bad about not asking my dad more about his military experiences, in World War II, and he was at D-Day and everything. But you just you tend not to do that, especially if they don't talk about it a lot, and he never did. Unless he did at the Army. They had Army reunions. So I may have mentioned this before. It was kind of neat, and I didn't fully appreciate it as a dumb kid. But every year, 4th of July weekend, they would gather, the people from his unit, I guess there were like 20 or 30, they would gather, come from all over the country, and usually to our place, or the city where we live, sometimes a couple hundred miles away, but it was lots of times at our house, or my mom and dad's house or home place, or somewhere close by. And they would mostly stay in motels, of course, but then we'd have events and would meet at our place or at our farm and everything. And I got to know those people pretty well. But anyway, I didn't really ask him enough about all that, and of course once they're gone, it's hard to do that. So if you have your dad, hope you appreciate that. Take advantage of that, even if you're a really young person, because you never know when they won't be there, and you won't be able to talk to them. But anyway, it's a great weekend, Father's Day weekend, and hopefully you get a chance to spend some time with either your dad or your son or both, or your daughter or whoever. I've been pretty lucky in that regard, and appreciate that, and relish it and cherish it, and hopefully you do too. So, and there's nothing really more enjoyable than going shooting, taking your son shooting. Just there's nothing he's going to enjoy, or your daughter. Well, yeah, let's be kind here. Most daughters, and in fact, enjoy shooting. Girls, women tend to be as good or better than the guys, and as long as you don't put a .44 Magnum, in their hands the first time out, they probably are going to develop some fondness for shooting. it's just too much fun, isn't it? As we all know, it's just addictive. So at least they tell me that. I don't really care about shooting myself, but they tell me it's really addictive and a lot of fun. So anyway, hopefully you get to take some of your offspring shooting, and or maybe your dad. It'd be a cool way to spend part of Father's Day weekend, wouldn't it? So anyway, happy Father's Day to everybody, and hope you enjoy that event to some extent. I wanted to say a few things about the things that are sent to us. That has increased in terms of people wanting to send things to us and to get on a video maybe, and various things. And everybody knows, I think, that by now that we don't really do product reviews per se. If it's something we like, it'll probably show up in a video. If it's something that we can really use and it's kind of cool, it will more likely show up in a video, and we'll mention it and make sure we give a little plug there, of course, and appreciate somebody giving it to us. Like the challenge target that we put on a range recently. That's a fairly expensive little unit there, and just total freebie. So we're perfectly fine with making y'all aware that you might want one. They, it's kind of neat, kind of an interesting design, but but they've got websites. You can go learn about it and everything, and go from there. It's really the smaller things sometimes that I'm afraid get lost sometimes in the shuffle. And I just wanted to apologize to anybody that has sent anything, and you're still wondering if we're ever going to show it or if it's going to show up. We just get a lot of things, and a lot of people, most people, are really adamant about wanting to send a holster or whatever it is, little things, and I'll say, well, yeah, sure. I'm not going to say absolutely not, we can't do that, and then they, duh. If somebody wants to send it, I have a kind of a straight line there, a consistent line with them is, yeah, send it. If I like it, it'll probably show up. I just can't make any promises. And I have things kind of in a pile here and there, and I've got some things I'm not sure what I did with them. It's just I'm not the most organized person in the world. I'll be honest with you on that. And I'm looking at a couple of holsters here, been lying here in a pile by multi-holsters, which I think I wore one in a video. I like the little holsters, for example. Just a little Kydex holster is pretty neat. And but things like that, they'll probably show up. I don't do videos on a specific product. I might sometime, I don't know, but generally we just go on what we do, and then part of our task, of course, is to make you aware of things that are out there that seem to be pretty cool and work. So we're sort of in the middle on all that. And but anyway, I just want to kind of let people know, if you're a viewer, listener to this crazy thing, then that we're aware that you've sent something. I've got it, and it might have already been in a video somewhere, or it might not have. But we just, I still get these things sent to me. When I tell folks that, don't send it if you're worried about it, or if you're going to get mad if it doesn't show up in a video, or if you're afraid I'm not going to like it, don't send it. That sort of thing. Because but then if they still want to send it, I'll say, okay, well, here's P.O. Box. But that's kind of the way that works. Just want to make everybody aware, because and the other thing, of course, I do get a lot of offers for guns, and many of those, of course, are from out of state or somewhere, and that's the one thing I'm not gotten into yet. I do. Recently, I started accepting some of those invitations from people locally if they have a firearm. I didn't do that for a long time, but that's kind of neat. As long as you're aware of the situation, I'm a pretty responsible person, and I'm going to take care of it. I'm always a little wary of that. I like to get it back as quickly as I can, but and I take extra care of better care of a gun that someone lends me than I would my own. And of course, if something happened, were stolen, or I dropped it out of the car window, some dumb thing like that, ran over it with the tractor, I would, of course, take full responsibility for that. But anyway, I do appreciate the folks locally that have lent me a couple of guns. That's kind of neat. And I've got another one in the works or two there. People have contacted me locally. So, but by and large, unless you are local, that Middle Tennessee or somewhere, within 30 minutes or an hour's drive or something, and it's a, probably not going to get into shipping guns and shipping them back and all that kind of thing. So, but it is kind of nice, and I appreciate that from the folks who have lent some guns recently. I got a few from the gun shop in Jolton there, the ASP, and then the 500 Magnum is kind of neat. Fellow that lives fairly close, and what else? Got of course the H&Ks and the Mosin Model 44, things like that. So that's kind of neat. But anyway, just be aware. A lot going on, and if you don't see something, sorry about that. It's just kind of the way it goes. Of course, the cream always rises to the top. If I have something that I get sent to me that is really cool, you're going to see it. If I think it's really cool, I really like it, then you're more likely to see it, of course, on the tube, even if it's just in passing. But anyway, just a word or two about that. Sometimes I think we do too many revolver videos, but I tell you what, I just love revolvers. I don't know what I'm talking about, whether I'm here to apologize or to just say too bad if you don't like them. I don't know. I just really like revolvers. I think maybe I have a license. I'm taking my advantage of my license to bring revolvers to you, I guess, and even the old stuff, muzzleloaders, whatever, because I like it all. And you see a fair amount of fully automatic fire in the videos. You see lots of Glock action. I think if you look at the Glock playlist, I don't know what's in there now, 30 or 40. And I probably have neglected to put some of them in that playlist. When I first post videos for 2 or 3 days, of course, I realize it's a recent upload, and whether it's in a playlist is almost irrelevant because, people are coming to look, see what was posted and everything. And sometimes I forget. I don't put them in there right away. And then sometimes there's a video that I'm not sure, where am I going to put that thing? What's that? Where does that one fit? Is that going military rifles? Are I going to rifles? Or is that I don't know. So sometimes I just, because I haven't decided where to put it, I forget because we're posting more videos. So that's something I really should do. There's no telling out of the 430 videos or however many there are, how many are hanging out there not in playlists. And of course, I'm not 100% certain how people necessarily, prefer that anyway. How many of you search via the playlist? And that I know more people need to lots of times because see lots of comments, and I'll get questions and comments that indicate folks have not looked at the playlist to know what's in there. But anyway, there are things not hanging in playlists, I know. But anyway, back to revolvers. We have 2 or 3 videos we've not posted about revolvers. They're kind of educational and oriented and that kind of thing. And got more planned, So there's just something about the guns that I can't get away from. I have a lot of them, and may even have a couple you have not seen. They're just special. And yeah, again, the point I was making, I shoot so many automatic or semi-automatic guns and enjoy them and make enough videos on them that I guess I feel like I have a license to bring you quite a bit of the revolver action. And it is rewarding to hear from people who were not necessarily revolver fans and thought they did not like them, who are now looking and shopping for a revolver. And I don't know if that's my goal, is to turn you into a revolver nut, but the things are just gorgeous. There's just something special about them, the way they operate, the simplicity of it and everything. And I guess I'm an advocate of firearms diversity, right? I really am. And I've talked about that before. There are so many really cool firearms. And I go too far. I try to delve into so many different areas just because I find them interesting. I may have everything from flintlocks, percussion revolvers, up through, of course, the Glocks and the latest Ruger. semi-automatic pistol, and I enjoy all of them thoroughly. And I guess that's my gospel, if there is one. You really don't want to limit yourself, hopefully, in terms of your interest. You can't run out and buy them all. But yeah, I guess if I had to choose, and of course I get a lot of requests to do videos like that, which we may do some. If you could only have 5 guns, Hickok, which would they be? Or 5 handguns, or 5 rifles, and maybe we'll do some things like that. Just thinking off the top of my head, well, let's increase it to 10 guns. 10 handguns, maybe. I don't know. Well, I'll have to think about all that. But, I would want something probably from the percussion era. I'd have to have a percussion revolver in that collection. A double action revolver, single action Colt, probably. A Glock. I would want something from every era. Maybe the best of each, perhaps, or something. Because I wouldn't want to limit myself to one genre of firearms. It's just that simple. But anyway, I know we've done a lot of revolver videos, and we have more to do, but we're going to do a lot of other things too. So, but we go kind of in spurts, I guess, if you noticed. A lot of it's just based on kind of what we're into, what we're doing. We find a deal on something, or if someone lends us a gun, like the 500 Magnum came kind of out of nowhere, and so didn't want to keep that too long, so we wanted to do several videos with it while we had it. And whereas we might have been planning to do another Glock video that week or something. So some of it's circumstance, and some of it's planned, but all of it's fun. And we're not going to neglect any videos we have in mind. We just postpone them, and we'll get to it. So anyway, I just want to make a word, or say a word about the revolver fetish. I'm sorry, but they're just too cool. Also, I wanted to remind everybody that, again, if you see me out somewhere, don't hesitate to say hi. It's not like I'm some kind of big celebrity and I'm bothered all the time. It's it's just kind of neat to run into you guys, and helps keep me aware that you're out there watching. So it's kind of neat to put faces with viewers. I can't keep track of usernames and that sort of thing. So it's not like putting faces with names, but it's neat to run into you all, and it happened a lot this weekend, of course, up at the gun show and at Friendship, and then even a restaurant, a grocery store here recently a couple of times, and gun shops, of course. It's kind of neat to just to meet you guys, and it's as what I would expect. It's always someone who seems to have a brain. I don't have weird people walking up and saying hi. It's it's intelligent folks, and just want to thank us for the videos, and appreciate what we're doing, and there's that kind of thing. Just want to say hi, or get people seem to like you get a picture. These days it's kind of funny. It's kind of hard to get used to that. Everybody has a phone, or the camera on it, that kind of thing. I guess to prove they ran into the big idiot. But anyway, it's kind of neat to run into people. So don't hesitate to say hi. Regardless of what I'm doing virtually. So but anyway, it's just I just appreciate y'all watching the videos and helping me maintain the civility on the channel, I guess the family atmosphere. I don't want to overuse that phrase, but that's really what we try to kind of maintain. You can't do that totally, of course. It is the internet, but I think people realize that. I don't even delete every profanity necessarily. Some people, it depends on what it is. Some people say things, they don't think a thing about it. It's just kind of, you can tell it's just the way they talk, and they may throw something out there in a comment, and it just kind of depends on how it's used. It's kind of a judgment call, and I'm sure that a lot of them I don't see. But you all help me keep the channel fairly family friendly, because I can't tell you how many people, as I've mentioned before, tell me that they really, really enjoy being able to let their kids watch it, and it's one thing that they can let their kids watch and not have to worry about it. They can watch, certainly the videos, of course, but even the comments are generally okay. There's going to be some craziness there, but that's limited, and you all are helping me vote those down, or also I've gotten messages from some of you about some of the worst ones, and I appreciate that. If you do, let me know that. If you see some really horrible stuff, really just hate-filled stuff, or racist, bigoted stuff that comes through occasionally, because again, anybody that has an internet connection can make a comment. There's no intelligence test, there's no bigotry test, there's nothing, and So unless I were to not allow comments or require them to be approved, which I couldn't maintain that. No way I could do that. I do that on the profile, because I've had a couple of really crazy things show up on there back in the day, and that's on the home page. That a lot of people see that right away, and so I'm sure there's some weirdos that would just thoroughly enjoy the fact they could put something totally obnoxious on there and it might not be seen for a few hours or something like. So I do make those. I have it marked for approval on that, and I just approve everything on that, even if it's something you're not supposed to be asking me questions there or whatever it is, or something goofy. I rarely ever don't approve something there. It's mainly just so I can screen out something really totally obnoxious, on that. But anyway, I appreciate y'all helping me with that, and the least I can do is chat with you a little bit, or at least say hi, So I'm not I'm a pretty laid back person, as you can tell. Probably takes a lot to get me mad. I don't get mad that often, except maybe myself. And so you're not going to bother me. It takes a lot to get on my bad side. People don't want to be on my bad side. Kind of like in one of those old mountain folks, I guess you hear about. If you ever known anybody that takes a lot to get on their bad side, but when you do, you don't want to be there, because they're not going to forget it. But no, I'm pretty laid back, and be glad to chat with you if I, got the time at all. So don't forget that. I had a message just this morning, so whoever sent that is going to be maybe surprised to hear a response so quickly. But in fact, I think they suggested I maybe talk about it in a radio show or somewhere, but they were asking me about steel case ammo in Glocks. And, shooting steel case ammo, those that don't know, there's ammo out there. Wolf ammo, I guess, is the most common, but it's the case is not brass, it's made of steel. Most of this comes from overseas, Russia, somewhere. And I think it's lacquered. It's got like a varnish or lacquer on it. To keep it from rusting, or painted and lacquered. I don't know. About the only steel case ammo I shoot is in my AK. So, and then perhaps the Mosin. What else? Well, the 7.62 by 39, or the 7.62 by 54R. I guess. I don't think I've shot any of my Maus, most of that's brass case you buy, the 8mm, I suppose. So for me, it's the Russian rounds I pick up, and of course the AK will fire anything, you can't hurt an AK, and of course a bolt action rifle, Mosin, they're cheap anyway as far as so I don't worry about that. And Glocks, however, guns that you shoot a lot, I don't know. I have heard so many stories on both sides of that, whether or not it's good to shoot steel case ammo in a Glock or 1911 or any gun for that matter, handgun. And I tell you the truth, I don't know. I'm not sure I don't have a really strong opinion because I don't know enough about it. I've heard people on both sides of it, as I say, and I just stay away from it with my Glocks. You can save a little bit, but particularly where I hand load most of mine, I'd rather just hand load, and then I avoid the issue totally. So I don't know. If you don't shoot that much, then of course you don't save a whole lot by shooting steel case ammo. The steel case ammo, again, for those who don't know, it's usually less money. And, that's the the whole premise here. It's less money. You can buy wolf ammo for less than you can buy most other, I guess. 9mm or 40 caliber, if they do 40 caliber, I guess. 223 and all that. And of course it's an issue with 223, in the 5.56 by 45, in the ARs. Some people shoot steel case ammo in those. I don't. The only guns I shoot steel case ammo in, again, is the Mosin or the AK. I just don't think the savings is enough for me personally to warrant it, to take the chance. You know, if there is a problem, if it's going to wear the chamber more quickly, or if the lacquer buildup is going to create problems, or just whatever. You know, it's just, now if you could buy that ammo for like 25% of what the other ammo costs, you know, then I'd be looking at it really hard and say, yeah, I'm just going to shoot that stuff. I can buy a new barrel. I can clean this thing better, or whatever the negatives might be of the ammo. But from what I can tell, the cost is not dramatic. The savings is not dramatic, you know, enough. So I just stay away from it. A lot of people shoot it, and I guess it does fine. I don't know. I'd ask around the internet on that and get some more personal opinions, because, again, I don't really have hands-on experience enough to give an intelligent, as you can tell, opinion on it. All I can say is the opinion I have that's not based on a whole lot of experience is that I just, since the savings not dramatic, I just avoid it. I don't shoot it in my Glocks or my ARs. I do use it in the AK, and I've not had any trouble, or in bolt guns, I've not had any trouble there. So you just kind of have to do whatever you think. And some of you, can post comments about your experience with it, maybe on this video, this radio show, or wherever, because a lot of you have experience with that, I'm sure. So we'll probably hear both sides of that. Oops, I almost forgot the gun action of the week. I really did. Didn't even have it on the list here as things came to mind. So anyway, last week, some of you caught me. I didn't have a firearm with me, and I I pulled one on you. Yes, it was the stapler. It was. Let me see. What is the brand on this thing? Oh, yeah, it's my Stanley Pro Sharp Shooter, it's called. So, it's a gun. Pro Sharp Shooter is the model name, the TR200 by Stanley. Wow, it's even engraved on there. Sharpshooter. Heavy-duty sharpshooter. That's what. So, hey, what am I saying? It was a gun. My high-capacity semi-automatic stapler. So, yeah, I pulled one on you, didn't I? Okay, this week we have something you may have more trouble with. We'll see. Listen up. I'm going to work it. I'm just going to work whatever I can on the thing. I may not pull the trigger. I may. We'll see. Listen carefully. Let's do that again. All right, we'll work it. Can't really tell you what I'm doing. It would give it away to some extent. I'll pull a trigger once. Okay. Hints. Wow. Let me say, this is something most of you don't have. And it's also something that made an appearance in a recent movie. Also, the movie recently came out on DVD, and it's a kind of a significant firearm in some ways in that movie. And that's all I can say about that. So let's wrap this thing up this week, and I will chat at you later. You'll probably be seeing us on the tube, because we do videos on YouTube, for those who don't know that. And usually there's shooting involved in about 95% of them. So be on the lookout. You never know what will appear. We appreciate you watching. And as always, please, if, of course I'm speaking to the choir here on the radio show. Most of you all probably have seen all the videos, but there are a lot of videos back through there that don't get seen, I think, very much for some reason. For an example, let me digress a little bit. Over the weekend when we were out of town, John and I got talking about the tree trimming video. I don't know why. And I looked at it. I mentioned to him, that thing, isn't that crazy? Because I liked that video. I thought it was pretty neat. It was Tree Trimming 101, I think. And it has like 26,000 views or something, like last Friday or when we were up north. And I said, isn't that funny? If we posted that video tomorrow, it would have that many views in a couple of days. You know, it's just because people don't find them or don't go back through the videos. And what I liked about it was it worked so well. I mean, it was a tree trimming paradise. Every shot I took, man, took off a limb. That's what you want when you're doing tree trimming around the farm. You want to get your money's worth from your shells. And it just, for someone who'd never seen that done, I thought that ought to be an interesting video to people. It's not the best. It's a couple years old, I guess. You know, it's the camera was on a tripod. That was, you know, it was an old camera and all that kind of thing, but not high def. But so definitely some good tree trimming and a good lesson in tree trimming and how to do it properly. They should really run that video at Home Depot, you know, at Ace Hardware, just constantly. Should have it there on the counter probably to show how to really trim trees. But anyway, so I featured it for a couple, 3 days there, and the views like doubled. You know, I don't know, I think it's got like 40,000 views or maybe more just for a few days. So people saw it, you know, and they are more likely to see it. But anyway, get back through those playlists if you will. We've done some stuff even 2 years ago. You know, there's not a big difference really, other than a little bit of camera quality. You know, we're a little better at what we do now, I think, but still, there's some neat stuff back there. So I hope you get back and look through the playlists and maybe even find stuff that's dangling back there that's not in a playlist. Let me know sometime if you ever run across a video you think is pretty neat and it's not in any playlist. If you just happen to discover that or notice that, send me a message, would you? And I'll put it in a playlist if I figure out where it goes. So anyway, let's wrap up. Hope you get a chance to shoot this week and shop around for some cool guns. Take somebody shooting, like I say, if you get a chance. Take your dad shooting on Father's Day. Take your daughter, your son, and have some fun, and we'll chat at you later. You've been listening to the Hickok45 Radio Show. See you on the range.